kind of protests that we have here in Ghana, what makes the Kenyan one quite different? Recently, the recent Kenyan one, what makes it different?
So the Kenyan one was an amalgamation of trade unions, young persons who were just tired of being shortchanged. Now, Ghana, we had the chance to do that with e-levy. Because if you read the things that followed this Kenyan one, they were akin to what happened in Ghana, e-levy.
But you see, for the Kenyan one, I'm not able to point out to a place where it looked like somebody started calling for it or somebody started chanting for it. Like what we see Oliver do here in Ghana. They pick a date, they look at the location, it's gone through a process to go to the police, it is approved and all of that. For the Kenyan one, it just sprung up on us.
And that's dangerous because it shows that it's coming from the people who ordinarily do not have voices to be heard.
So how did they come together? I'm still understanding it.
If you read carefully what followed the I think the Arab Spring, this was how it is. Through the internet, through conversations, through meetings, it galvanizes people because then you're able to convince people that I'm not doing this for partisan interest. Look, we live in this country where under Mahama there was a group called Occupy Ghana.
Yes.
And then most of them are benefiting from government now, whether we like it or not. So sometimes we need to be honest. Most of them are. Now, I tell you, if, I'm saying this conditionally, if the NDC happens to win the election, mark my words, a lot of people we are seeing being dissident towards governments right now will be beneficiaries of an NDC government. So it tells you that...
Has it always been like that in demonstrations years ago? Has it always been so?
Most of the time. I mean, I work for a man who was instrumental in demonstrations in Ghana, Kwesi Pratt Jr., and he's one of the finest men I've ever known. And I don't see him playing partisanship.
He says it as...
Yes. And you see, that's the kind of dissidents we need. We need people who, even if it's by a government who they have close ties with, black is black, white is white. If it's wrong, it's wrong. We just call them out. Calling out the government does not mean you want them to be voted out. It means you need them to abide by the social contract they entered into with the people when they came to them for their vote. And that is what I believe we should do as a country. That's where Kenya got it right. Because if you followed carefully, it got to a time where even the Law Society of Kenya were supporting these guys. We saw clergymen stationed at some point giving water to people.
This was when the protest started already.
Yes.
Many have said that these young people didn't have any form of leadership, but they still were able to conduct a proper protest. I won't say that's proper protest, but they were able to
drum home the consent. Yes.
And then we saw their president now, in a way, to withdraw that bill.
Yes.
And would you agree that yes, there was no leadership, or you are with the people that said that no, there was leadership somewhere, but except they have not come out to publicly announce that, oh, we're the ones that galvanize these people.
Exactly.
So which one do you agree?
I agree that there was leadership.
Okay.
They were just not serving their parochial interest. They were acting in the interest of Kenyans, especially the youth. And so they don't, you see, you don't need to be a star to be able to galvanize people. You need to bring out the fire in them. You need to make them recognize what they are missing out on. You need to paint a picture to them as to what they deserve and what they are not getting. If you're able to do this, you inspire that confidence in people, and when they're out, look, not even guns can, harden them off.
Yeah. Well, how would you say that the Ghanaian authorities have responded to, how do you think they have responded to protests and demonstrations?
I think it's been abysmal.
Okay. Would you, from 1 to 10?
I think it will be 3.
Wow.
Yeah. Look, the mere fact that the state always goes to court days before a protest, they wait and let's say 2 or 3 days before the protest, they go to court to get an injunction against this protest. It tells you how much of a failure we've been. Because look, the Constitution itself grants Ghanaians the right to peaceful and lawful assembly, to embark on protests and demonstrations. It's granted under the Constitution. Of course, the police has some mandate to regulate how these things happen. But the right to demonstrate is a right. It's a
Yes.
constitutional right.
Yes.
And so you don't suppress it. You don't. The key way of a government to gauge how best its governance sits with the people is by how they are responding to you. So if you are a government in power and you have people protesting against you, you don't have to be arrogant. Just come out, make concessions, meet them halfway, and then form some, let there be some common ground. That's how
Yeah.
you govern.
Yeah.
But if you want to suppress them, that's where it gets to a point where when the people are no longer afraid of the power of the state, it's dangerous. That's what we saw in
Yeah.
Kenya.
Yeah.
When people's brains were blown out and they were still, forging
marching
ahead.
forward.
That's scary.